I'm success. I'm having a baby, so I need $6,000 for a celebration gift. Ava said, grinning as she reached out her hand. I quickly brushed her hand away. "The way, I'm giving you that. Besides, why such an amount?" I protested. Ava just scoffed and laughed. "Cute kids cost money. You wouldn't get it. It's gonna be a cute kid, just like Ava. A real beauty, unlike some." Ava and John laughed heartily. I was boiling with anger inside. I couldn't hold it in any longer. Suddenly, I blurted out, "Actually, about that child." As soon as Ava heard my words, she turned pale and John was visibly startled. Things didn't go exactly as planned, but it was a decent start. But the real revenge is yet to come. They'll pay for what they did to my sister. Let them cry together after they've lost everything. As though that won't be enough for me. They should enjoy themselves while they can. Their smiles will be gone soon enough. I laughed inwardly, stepping away from the quarreling Ava and John. "My name is Emma Johnson. I'm 33 and work at a design firm. You might think I chose this career for its urban and stylish image, but my reasons were not so simple. Honestly, this was the only path for me. I believe it was the right choice. I have an older sister, Sophia. She's 2 years older and could do anything. Be compared to her, who is good at both studies and sports. My only talent was drawing. Illustration was the one area where I could match my sister. But I want to clarify, I was never on bad terms with my sister or parents. My parents loved me equally, and I still keep in touch with Sophia frequently. That's why it was such a shock when she divorced 4 years ago. Moreover, the cause was her husband John's affair with my best friend. Always. I'm sorry. I'll cut ties with Ava. I promised my sister a memory that still haunts my dreams. I will never forgive Ava. That's what I've been thinking to this day. Ava and I first met when we were in elementary school. We were the same age and ended up in the same class in the upper grades. Of course, we knew each other's names and faces, being in the same grade. But we never really interacted and talked much before then. "I'm Ava Moore. Nice to meet you," Ava said with her beautifully structured face. Her voice was cute and everything about her was adorable. Being approached by such a girl, I was completely flustered. "What's wrong?" "Well, you're just so much cuter than me." "Really? Ava?" I nodded slightly. Satisfactions in that moment. Ava hugged me and whispered in my ear with a smile, "I think Emma is cute too. Have confidence in yourself." "Really?" "Yeah. Let's be best friends." And that's how we became best friends. Has been. Ava was always there for me. When I was bad-mouthed at school, Ava was the first to defend me. There are people talking badly about Emma, but let's stop that. She would say confidently in front of our classmates. Naturally, they all fell silent. And the reason for the gossip, unbeknownst to them, was the existence of my sister. At first, many friends would say to me such things, I'm really envious that you have a sister who's good at studies, a regular in clubs too. That's so cool. I'm happy when my sister gets praised like that. It felt kind of good. But those compliments from my sister turned into negative comments about me. Her sister is smart and athletic, but she's just not. She's good at drawing, but isn't that kind of lame? No one would say it to my face, but I could hear their whispers in the corners of the classroom. Of course, I heard all of it. It was true, so I couldn't deny it. It was painful, but it was the truth. I had to endure it. But Ava seemed to sense my feelings and warned our classmates. And to prevent further issues, she didn't single out anyone in particular. Thanks to her approach, the gossip about me stopped. Thank you, Eva. We're best friends. Of course. Our bond grew stronger. However, I learned the truth about that incident a year ago. It was at a reunion that I hadn't attended in a long time. A friend told me something shocking. The bad-mouthing was orchestrated by Ava herself. She defended me to gain my trust. But when I was told the truth, I felt like my heart was about to burst with regret. If only I had seen through the lies, maybe my sister wouldn't have divorced. I couldn't forgive Ava more than ever. I must say, I only learned this fact about a year ago, until the moment I heard about my sister's divorce. I always thought of Ava as my best friend. Even as we grew up, I still believed Ava was my best friend. That's why I never doubted anything Ava said. But you have a talent for illustration. Emma, you should definitely pursue that field. Really, you think so? Keep at it. Ava said, giving me a push. That's why I decided to attend a design college. Looking back, it seems kind of laughable, but at the time, I believed Ava's advice. However, there was one good thing. I truly had a talent for illustration. After going to college, I blossomed in design and landed a job at a top design firm with excellent grades. Eva, on the other hand, joined a modeling agency after high school. But she didn't make a big splash. She appeared in some unfamous fashion magazines as a small-time model, and that was only a few times. Eva's modeling career ended there. Still, there's no denying Ava was beautiful. Using her looks, she switched to a major apparel brand, and then she started working as a salesperson at a clothing store owned by the manufacturer. As in being a former model, she boosted the store's sales significantly. Thus, Eva became a popular salesperson. Hearing about her, I decided to visit her. Eva, it seems like you've become quite popular. Emma, is your town? Eva ran over to me. I nodded subtly, being mindful of the people around. So, how's your job? Ad design is pretty tough, but I guess it's fulfilling. I see. I gotta keep up then. I thought she'd be down about quitting modeling, but she seemed fine. While I was thinking this, Eva peered into my face and asked, "So, what brings you here today? If you're looking for new arrivals, I can pick something out for you." Actually, it's not that. I'm looking for a present for my sister. That's the one who's 2 years older. Is it her birthday? They asked with a smile. Oh, I answered a bit shyly. Actually, my sister, she's getting married. Married. Congratulations. Thanks, well, it's not me, but... Oh, right. Sorry about that. We both laughed. I then told her about my sister's marriage. Sophia, who just turned 28 a few days ago, went out to dinner with her boyfriend. John, get from me, unproposed to her. Of course, she accepted. I heard this story the day before and decided to celebrate my sister's marriage. After much thought, I chose to give her clothes as a present. I figured she would need them for the upcoming wedding preparations and meetings. So, I was wondering if you have any nice clothes. Got it. I'll pick something out for you. Do you have a photo or something of your sister? Ava asked, reaching out her hand. I sent Ava a photo of my sister that I had saved on my phone. It was a picture my sister had sent me. The picture was taken during a recent date. The impressive illumination in the background was the talk of the town, and I especially liked that. Photo. I pressed a tonal of that illumination spot. It's really popular right now. Exactly. We were talking about going there too. I started to say, then quickly clamped my mouth shut. But it was too late. Ava was grinning at me. She put her hand to her mouth and asked, "Did I hear we're going to check it out? Do you have a boyfriend now?" Well, I stammered, my ears turning red with embarrassment. Truth be told, this was the first time I had a boyfriend. Ava, who had been with me since elementary school, knew that... In course, she was happy for me, but all of this was just an act. Ava confessed when I confronted her about my sister's divorce. Furthermore, the photo I sent that time was what led to Ava and John's affair. And Ava had known about my boyfriend, Oliver, a few days ago. Ava apparently witnessed me and my boyfriend, Oliver, on a date a few days ago. That was true. Ava was planning to steal Oliver from me. She confessed this to me. Essentially, if I hadn't brought up my sister's marriage, Ava would have tried to take my boyfriend. Because I showed Ava the photo with John, my sister ended up divorcing. I regretted it terribly, even though I did it unknowingly. Nevertheless, I gifted my sister the clothes Ava picked out, oblivious to everything. My sister was delighted and even wore them for her wedding preparations. Looking back, I think that was the happiest time for her. After a while, my sister got married, but she gradually became more withdrawn. We were both living alone and used to contact each other frequently. However, shortly after her marriage, she rarely reached out. Maybe she's enjoying her newlywed life. I thought lightly. Then, unexpectedly, my sister called. Fun might be cheating on me. Her voice was heavy. I tried to comfort her as best as I could. What do you mean? Are you sure it's not a misunderstanding? I don't think it's a mistake. He's been coming home late, and he's hardly ever home on his days off. As she spoke, my sister started crying. In my mind, my sister has always been a strong person. But she was crying like this. Hearing her cry made it clear that something was seriously wrong. Calm down, sis. Let's start by properly investigating this. Sophia, about having John's conduct investigated. I thought if they could reconcile, that would be best. But this backfired. Sister, who honestly requested the investigation, discovered John's affair with Ava. Hearing this, we confronted Ava together. Ava, what is this about? What do you mean? John and I are in a relationship. That's all. But he's Sophia's husband. Isn't that an affair? I argued vehemently. Ava seemed unfazed. Sure, it's an affair, but what's the problem? He obviously prefers someone beautiful, she said, glancing at Sophia. Sophia quickly looked down. Sophia and I may not compare to Ava in looks, but including the heart, we're overwhelmingly better. At least I can say for sure. Ava, who cheats without any remorse, is much uglier than my sister. He argued with Ava, but she remained defiant the whole time. But realizing it was futile, I then confronted John. He too was unapologetic. Well, of course, I prefer beauty. It's nice to have people envy me when I'm out with her. John, are you serious? Yes, I am. I couldn't bring myself to ask why he married my sister. Fine. I'll report the affair to your respective companies. That could get us fired. That's only fair for what you've done. I responded loudly. Ava seemed a bit shaken, but John remained composed. You're still so immature. Emma, an affair doesn't mean losing a job. Wyatt, it's a personal issue, not a crime. Companies usually don't get involved in marital issues. True, the companies might not like it, but they wouldn't necessarily punish someone for an affair. I learned later that unless there's a specific company policy, affairs generally don't lead to disciplinary action. Ava smirked triumphantly and John grinned. Well, that's how it is. The best you can do is break up with me, told Sophia. Sophia looked down, visibly upset. How dare you? I began, but Sophia grabbed my arm. She whispered faintly, It's okay. If it means I can leave John, that's enough. Eventually, Sophia got a settlement and divorced John. Later, John apparently started dating Ava. But it didn't matter to me. I couldn't forgive either John or Ava. I had sworn to myself that I would take revenge on those two in place of my sister. That was the only thing I promised in my heart. For years have passed since then. I've never forgotten them for a moment. Everything's ready now, brace yourselves. I decided one holiday and headed to a select shop in a busy downtown area. As I entered this store, I heard a female salesperson's voice, but I ignored it and approached the two shoppers. A long time no see. Ava, I called out. The woman turned around. It was Ava. Surprised to see me. John turned around too. What's up? Emma? You haven't changed much, still look the same, I guess. I was irritated, but knew getting angry would ruin my plan. I continued calmly, You both look well. Ava, have you gained a bit of weight? What? No way. I'm pregnant, Ava retorted. That was the reaction I expected. Here comes the real challenge. I thought to myself, preparing to continue. But before I could speak, Eva blurted out, "Since I'm having a baby, how about gifting me $6,000 as a celebration?" Eva smirked and held out her hand. I immediately brushed it away. "Why would I give you that? And why such an amount?" I challenged her. Eva snorted and laughed. "You cute kids cost money. You wouldn't understand. It's going to be a cute kid, just like Ava. But unlike some, she's likely to have a beautiful baby." They both laughed loudly. I was boiling with anger inside. I couldn't hold it in any longer. Suddenly, I blurted out, "Oh, actually, about the baby." At my words, Eva turned pale, and John was visibly startled. Things didn't go exactly as planned, but it was a good start. But the real revenge starts now. They will pay for what they did to my sister. Let them enjoy themselves while they can. But their smiles will be gone soon enough. It's with a laugh in my heart. I stepped back from the bickering Ava and John. That's when Ava noticed me stepping back. Pointing at me, Eva raised her voice. "How could you say that to John? That child isn't John's. How could you?" "Oh, hit a nerve, did I? Of course the child is John's. We got married after all that happened," Ava shouted, drawing the attention of everyone in the store. I glanced around and stoked the fire further. "Really? So the father of the child is Ava's affair partner, right?" "That's not all." Eva began to retort loudly, but John cut in. "Enough with the accusations. This is my child. You're just going to ignore that your wife might be cheating?" "John," I asked, and John's face turned red with anger. "Don't talk nonsense without proof." "Talk nonsense without proof? You're just trying to start a fight." "Exactly. Don't joke about this." Eva countered, her face also red. I looked around, thinking it might be time to wind things down. Well, causing a scene in this store is bothersome, so I'll leave it at that. "What? You started this? You know what? I'll sue you for defamation." John sneered. "That's a great idea. Maybe we could get $20,000 or so." Ava chimed in. I sighed and replied, "Suit yourself." "But what if I actually have proof of Ava's affair?" "What? You really have proof of Ava's cheating? Who knows? I'll let you know the next time we meet. Fix by now," I said, and quickly left the store. Don's voice followed me. "Hey! Wait, we're not done talking." I pretended not to hear and swiftly moved away from the store. A few hours later, as I was changing at home, the phone rang. I knew they'd call, I thought, smirking as I answered. Immediately, John's rapid voice came through. "The chins. That's about Ava's affair, is that true?" "Answer me." Just as I expected. I couldn't help feeling delighted. Does he not realize it's a trap? I thought, sighing softly before responding. The baby might be yours, but there's a good chance it's her lover's. So the affair is real. You can think what you want, I replied provocatively. After a brief silence, John asked in a low voice. You have proof, right? If you want it, I might consider giving it to you. I had openly told Ava that she was cheating, meaning Ava would be cautious now, making it impossible to gather more evidence of her affair. So, the evidence I might have would be crucial. Etsy's following my script perfectly, I thought. So, John then asked, what do you want? Amis, of course not. I just want revenge. If you leave Ava, that's enough for me. Needless to say, it was just a ruse. I have no intention of forgiving either Ava or John. But for now, I'll pretend to cooperate with John. And for the sake of what's to come, got it? So, I just need to leave Ava, right? It's simple, isn't it? If you get the evidence of Ava's affair, you'll be free and even get alimony. Right! Let's meet somewhere and talk about it. How about this Sunday? I suggested a restaurant in the downtown area. It has private rooms, perfect for confidential conversations. After specifying the place, I ended the call. Right after, Ava also called me. What are you up to? Emma, why didn't you answer my calls? I'm busy too. I can't be at your beck and call. Don't act so high and mighty. Ava hissed. I almost laughed. So, what are you going to do about it? You've caused trouble between me and John. Not my problem. You reap what you sow. Ava was responsible for her own cheating. I told her so. But Ava was unconcerned with that, and she retorted strongly. How are you going to take responsibility? Maybe I should really sue you. Is that something a best friend would say? Sorry, but we're not best friends. You said that, remember? Ava yelled. I moved the phone slightly away from my ear. Then with a sneer, I replied, oh right. I did say that. You're so infuriating. I should have made you cry more back in elementary school. Ava fumed. I thought, now's my chance, and played my trump card. Oh, in that case, maybe I should just throw it away. That's evidence of John's affair. Why? That's John's affair. Ava's tone changed. I continued, knowing I had her hooked. At septic stations, the evidence of your affair was a bust, but I managed to get proof of John's infidelity. What do you mean? Today's incident was all a ploy to anger Ava and make her call me. My real target was John, the one who betrayed my sister. I'll give Ava the evidence of John's affair. I want her to milk him dry for alimony until he's ruined. I spun this story, but Ava believed it. All right, send me that evidence then. I'd like to talk in person. How about we meet this Sunday afternoon at the cafe near the station? Give me the evidence then, and I'll deal with John, Ava replied. I ended the call with a smirk. The following Sunday approached, and as the time to meet Ava neared, I left my house. I've got the car ready. Let's go, Oliver, who had left the house earlier, said as he opened the car door for me. I got in with a smile. After he dropped me off near the station, I headed alone to the cafe where we agreed to meet. Ava was already waiting inside when I entered, but sorry I'm late. Never mind that. Just show me the evidence quickly, Ava demanded, reaching out her hand. I glanced briefly at the entrance, smiling and seeing the person I expected. I then said to Ava, "Before that, do you mind if a friend joins us?" "Is it your boyfriend?" "Oliver, wasn't it?" "Unfortunately, he's my husband now," I said, waving the person over from the entrance. Ava chuckled and looked towards the door. At that moment, Ava turned pale. Simultaneously, a somewhat loud voice echoed through the cafe. "Ava, you're back in Japan!" A man rushed in from the entrance. He was slightly older than us and wearing a suit. Why is Daniel here?" "Well, someone wanted to introduce his wife," Daniel replied, turning back. Oliver stood there. Couple Oliver, bowing his head to Ava and said, "Nice to meet you. I'm Emma's husband, Oliver. I've brought your affair partner." At that moment, Ava stood up abruptly. When Ava tried to flee, I grabbed her hand. "What's wrong? He's the father of your child, isn't he?" "The father of your child." Daniel looked at Ava's pregnant belly and then began to rejoice. "You were carrying my child. That's why you said you were going abroad." For the record, Daniel was definitely Ava's affair partner, and Ava had lied about going abroad. Actually, she tried to hide the pregnancy and birth. She was worried about a man who wasn't her husband coming to the hospital. However, Daniel realized something, and he asked Ava slowly, "Didn't I hear something about an affair?" "That's different. It's about someone else," Ava stammered in response. So, I jumped in to clarify. "It's all a lie. Ava is married, and you're just the affair partner." "Look, don't be fooled. Emma, don't you dare." Ava lunged at me. But in that moment, Executors to ordre fiend. "Ava, what's this all about?" "It's well," Ava stammered, but Oliver quickly presented a photo. "This is Ava's husband. Please discuss this between yourselves. We'll be leaving now." Oliver pulled me out of the cafe. Later, I heard that the cafe turned into a chaotic scene. Meanwhile, just orgies, Oliver and I headed to a restaurant in Chinatown. As we arrived, Alan was just getting there too. A perfect timing. "Wait, who is that guy?" "He's my husband, Oliver." "Ah, right, you mentioned the fiancé." I didn't want to get into a long conversation there, so I hurried us inside. We were led to a private room in the back of the restaurant. That's when the waiter let slip, "Your companion is already waiting inside." "Someone else is here?" "A lawyer." Something like that. It wasn't entirely untrue. So I went along with it and entered the room. Instantly, a high-pitched female voice greeted us. "I've been waiting for you." "John." "What?" "Louis." John's face showed utter shock, and he almost collapsed. But Oliver quickly supported him. Then the woman, identified as Lily, spoke again. "Thank you for helping my fiancé." "It's nothing." "And who might you be?" Lily asked, tilting her head. She had gestures like those of an innocent young girl. Despite feeling sorry to upset her, I boldly stated, I am the sister of John's ex-wife, and this is my husband, Oliver. Oh, I see. But why is the ex-wife's sister here? Because I was the one who invited you all, I said, just as John began to cause a scene. Shut up. Don't say anything unnecessary. I won't say anything unnecessary. I'm just here to inform you that you're already married. The atmosphere in the room froze, but I continued unfazed. John left my sister and then remarried my former best friend. Be quiet. John continued to make a scene. Then Lily raised her voice. Please be quiet. They were in the middle of a conversation. Overwhelmed, John fell silent. But with that confirmation, I continued. After that, he started dating you, hiding the fact that he was already married. I continued to reveal everything about John's current situation and his affairs. Finally, I told Lily that John's current wife, Ava, was pregnant. I understand now. So, I was being cheated on. Well, that's the situation. It's just as well. My father is here, so we can have a proper talk, Lily said, indicating someone behind her. I looked back to see a man with a flushed face. So, that's her father. As I was thinking this, Lily suddenly raised her voice. You do know my father is a lawyer, right? John, are you prepared? She gave John a stern look. But John, slightly intimidated, began to make excuses. It's not like that. My wife Ava was cheating, and I was planning to divorce her. So, you haven't divorced yet? No. I mean enough. I will sue you, Lily declared, and at that moment her father grabbed John. Her father, it's nice to meet you. John tried to greet him, but it was no use. The situation quickly escalated, so Oliver and I retreated outside the room and then informed the staff member who came over after hearing the commotion. I made my announcement. There's a disturbance inside. Please call the police. With those words, the staff member made a 911 call, and the police arrived quickly. Later, we were questioned, but it ended with a stern warning, as it was a family dispute. However, for most people, that was the end, but not for John. The police involvement became a problem at his company. Actually, the cause of the disturbance was thoroughly investigated. It became known that the cause was his affair. Routine affair wouldn't normally get someone fired, but the company took issue with the police involvement. Eventually, An was persuaded to submit his resignation, and he reluctantly left the company. It's your fault. What are you going to do about it? If you feel bad, lend me some money. If you keep bothering me, I'll call the police, you know. After saying that, he stopped contacting me altogether. It seems like he's learned his lesson. Afterwards, An was sued by Lily and faced a hefty settlement demand. Eva also had trouble with Daniel. Although they avoided court, she was still asked for alimony. Both burdened with debt, Hachno and Ava blamed each other and decided to divorce. They're now entangled in a messy divorce court battle. I doubt either of them will end up with any money, though. Apparently, to cover legal fees and living expenses, they're both working at a well-paying construction site. I hope this time they genuinely reflect on their actions. Meanwhile, I reported the whole story to my sister over the phone. That must have been tough. Are you okay? Emma? I'm fine. So sister, just focus on having a healthy baby. Actually, after her divorce, my sister remarried a former classmate she met at a reunion. After getting married, she moved far away, but we still keep in touch frequently. She's due to give birth soon, and thinking about it made me want a child too.